she wants to take an ambulance.
How long yours?
Oh, that's me.
Almost 35.
Yeah, you,
It's a lot to haul.
Tony showed me that. How was your trip?
So I don't know, she wants stuff on.
With the
It was
girls?
cold, but we had a furnace, space heaters, stuff to eat and drink, and games to play, so it was good. Got on the top for a week. It was good.
Furnace and alcohol, you stay well. Hey buddy, hey, thanks for coming. You wanna grab an agenda so you can, is there one up there?
And the next one, right next to it, yep.
Yeah. How are you? Good, I don't know how it's gonna go with your other son and did you see that information, part of that floodplain?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a nice deal, and I talked to Red today, and boy, he just
I didn't get it.
doesn't know if he wants the county and the DNR in there nosing around.
but as long as he doesn't touch those areas. That's not,
It's right in the floodplain.
yeah,
Did you see the map?
I did,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know how it's gonna go, maybe just have him go down and talk to Curtis, see what he wants to do.
Yeah, he's talked to him,
It's a great idea, I mean, it's nice to do and stuff.
yeah.
Well, didn't want to deliver the bad news, but I figured you'd seen the stuff. Just for your FYI, this is Dawson, is that right?
Lawson.
Lawson, oh, sorry. I got it close. And he is earning another badge for Boy Scouts,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and so he wanted to see how this all worked, and take some notes and stuff like that, which, thank you. Proud to have you be here and stuff.
That's Lawson's husband.
And,
What's his
Finland.
name?
Yeah. Here we go. Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call this to order, and we'll do, first off, we'll do our pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will do our roll call here, and of course, we have trustee Cole
Here.
and trustee Hushell,
Present.
trustee Monzel here, trustee Grover
Here.
trustee Lee Wendowski.
President.
I practiced a little bit, and trustee Long here, clerk Kelly,
Here.
and myself, Jeff. Okay, any public comments? Anybody? No public comments? Okay, we'll move forward to reports, fire department.
So we had 15 calls for the month. We put into service 6 new AEDs with the monies we received from the Plex grant. 3 of them went into the service with the police department, 2 are for the fire department, 1 is for Village Hall. We are planning a CPR class for staff in the near future. We are going to need a location in Village Hall for the new AED. Ladders on the engines were all tested this week and passed with no problems reported. We'll be getting the new cot and power lift later this month or early in June, along with our new 12-lead monitor. Probably a lot of you know, we responded to a structure fire on Industrial Drive Avenue in the Village Industrial Park. Report came in of a car fire that started the building on fire, and with the assistance of 13 other departments, we were able to attack the fire quickly and save the building and stop it from spreading to neighboring buildings. Our thanks to the Big Bend Police Department and the Waukesha Sheriff's Department for their assistance. The fire remains under investigation. We are continuing to meet with celebration. We are continuing to meet with celebrations to prepare for this year's Rumble by the River. The police department, along with us, are working on a severe weather plan for the event, along with preparations for any large-scale critical event. EMS week is this month, May 21st to the 27th.
Okay, any questions for Chief at all? I have one. That AED,
Yep.
you want to put it in here? Is that what you're thinking, or what? And how big is it?
Actually, in the
It's just
hall,
a little.
yeah, it's about, yeah, it's
This?
small.
Oh, so we don't.
It should probably be out in the hallway so that everybody has access to it.
And wait, what is it now? A movie? It's what?
Automatic defibrillator.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So,
Okay.
yeah, we'll just have to find
That's
a
something
place.
you mount then on?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
And that's the same thing they have like in the schools and all that?
yes.
Okay. Okay. How did your event go this week? That was with the library, right?
Yeah, we were gonna report on that next month, but we, cause I was actually in May, but we had, 56, students, I believe.
56 kids and 25 adults.
Yeah, that's good.
So, everything went well.
Okay, thanks, Chief.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the library report.
I wanted to congratulate Jeff and Ellen on their appointments. And I'm not going to go through my whole report because you all have a copy of it, but we did have a lot of programs in April. A service dog came to story time, we had Easter egg hunt, 2 school field trips, and the department event, which is really a mini event. I'll report on that next month. Also, the library was awarded a grant for $2,760. I ordered 12 STEM kits, which you all have to come and see sometime. They are really cool. But they're kits for preschoolers and early grade schoolers, and they can be checked out, and we're working on processing them. It's a big thing. And then we're getting a book cart to use to transport them. I did attend an all-day trip to Madison. That was really fun for me. Now, I wanted to explain more to you, Josh, but anyone that's new to the library world, I got a letter in the mail which will go to the library board this month, and then in end of summer, the village board will get their letter about the tax levy. And that's always a confusing question to people. The Wisconsin statutes govern the library, and they require us to do 2 things in order to be a public library. The village itself has to exempt from paying the county levy to the county and pay it to us instead. And that is the part that the village does. And that answers the question. I've had a lot of people pose that question to me, what do we need a library for? We could save a lot of money. Well, in reality, you wouldn't save anything, but you would just send it away to somebody else. So you benefit by having the library because we're here and we provide services to the community. But you could choose not to. And some communities don't, such as like Vernon or communities in Waterford, they're in the county. So their tax money goes to a pool in their county, and then their county divvies it up to us and all the other libraries that exist. So our budget for this year is about $84,000. $52,000 of that was the tax levy, and the village gives that to us to operate. The other money comes from the county, and thankfully the last 5 years, I think, we've been able to have a budget that has been flat, which means we didn't need to ask the village for any more money, and we had enough donations that helped us out with some special projects. So that's basically how our funding goes. So in order to be a public library, we have to do 2 things. Get the municipal tax rate, the ordinance that you pass to exempt from paying it to the county, and we have to meet Waukesha County library standards. And that's like a 3-page document, and the library board and I work that out, and we do meet that. Other than that, the library board runs the library. They're my direct bosses. Excuse me. Tika is our library board president. And then I also report to the village, or the library system in Waukesha. I counted one day, I had 21 bosses. But if you ever have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Yeah, we have a great libraries. I'd recommend going over to visit the library and like Carl said. And that question comes up every so many years is can we save money if we don't have a library? No. Because you're gonna pay the same amount to the county. And Carla has really made things grow over there with, a lot of kids programs. And we have a lot of adults and adult reading program. And of course, it's both books and the DVDs, a lot of movies and stuff like that.
In our electronic usage, I don't put the statistics in here because I always get them about 3 days after a meeting. But a third now of our usage is electronically, so we don't see it, but it's being used and we're finally getting reimbursed for it, which has upped our funding a little bit from the county. And also, one of the things, the different departments, I've had to reach out for a lot of help lately. Fire department and police helped with that program. And they're all, the fire department's all volunteer and they came in on their day off just to take care of all these kids. It was busy, but it was fun. Eric helped me with a lot of stuff in the last 6 months in the library. He just comes when he's able and everything's just maintained and I really appreciate that.
And the majority of that sign out there was donations to the library. So it was all paid for without any taxpayer money.
Oh, and I got $1,000 from the Lions Club.
The Lions
Festival.
Club.
So
Yeah.
we didn't put our plaque up yet acknowledging all the donors, but we will, and I'll change it now to add that to it.
Good. Police department report that's in your packet. You're gonna hear it?
Yeah, Don asked me to.
Don's a little busy with.
He's kind of tied up right now,
Yeah.
so for April, we ended up with 1 sexual assault, 1 second degree of reckless endangering safety, a child abuse, a domestic strangulation, 2 batteries, a fraud, criminal damage to property, OWI, and 2 bail jumpings. We had 2 adult arrests, 86 traffic stops, 79 citations for the month. Our calls for service, 366, extra patrols, 125, 6 traffic accidents, and we assisted on 7 fire calls. The notes, basically, officers were dispatched regarding a fraud complaint that occurred at a local business. A suspect was identified. The bank information belonged to a business in another state that did not get consent for the transaction of approximately $4,000. The individual has done this in several other states, and charges were referred to the DA's office. We had a criminal damage to property at Edgewood 164. Investigation revealed that the subject was arrested for a previous night for OWI and had struck several mailboxes. Video evidence was collected and the driver was charged with hit and run adjacent to the highway. No report was filed on that. And the other one of note would be officers were dispatched to a business in our village for a battery incident. During the investigation, it was learned that 2 separate battery incidents had occurred, as well as a child abuse, endangering safety, and other incidents. The suspect was located, taken into custody, multiple charges were referred to the DA's office. Following the charges that were issued, a 2nd degree reckless endangerment of safety, strangulation, and suffocation through domestic abuse, misdemeanor battery, domestic abuse, misdemeanor bail jumping, physical abuse with a child, and misdemeanor battery. We also assisted with the fire department in regards to the structure fire that had occurred down in the industrial park. Salvage inspections were 20 for the month of February. Salvage inspections for 2023 is at 101 and $8,580 brought in so far in regards to salvage inspection. And we assisted other agencies 2 hours and 28 minutes. And the chief wanted me to just remind everyone, National Night Out, it's going to be on Thursday, August 10th.
Good.
Does anyone have any questions?
I'm just going to add to that, Jamie, that we had asked the chief to give a little more control to the 164 Raceway, and you guys have. I think you stepped up a lot of your stops and citations. And you guys that live on 164, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So
Yeah, we've been hitting 164 hot and heavy,
yeah.
all the way basically from town line down to south end. So
Yeah.
trying our best, but you know it's fast out there.
Yeah,
So,
oh, yeah.
keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, appreciate that.
All right.
Any questions? We okay? Okay, we will
Thank you.
move on. Very good. Thanks, Steve. Move on to the president's report here, and really all I want to do is welcome our new people here. We appreciate you stepping up and running for these positions. You know, it's public service, you know, and remember everything you say and do, and it's going to be on the camera, which is fine. You know, we have nothing to hide here. Make sure when we go into closed sessions and different things like that, it has to stay there. You know, you'd like to go home and tell your wife or tell this person or that person. For some reason, that person tells this person and whatever. And then it comes back to bite you. Feel free to disagree at any time, respectfully. We have conversations here, and it's normally good ones. You know, nobody gets up and pouts and walks out the door screaming and yelling profanities. So, you know, we discuss stuff and do what's best for the people of Big Bend. Mike, do you have anything to add to that of note?
Well, I guess I'd say this. When there's a debate, including this body, I never think there's losers and winners. There isn't. Everybody presents their position, aids the group in making its, coming to its conclusion by expressing their views on the topic. So there's no winners or losers. The only winners are the community. We'll get all the, who have the benefit of all the information on the table and you guys cast your vote.
I guess Mike came in after we kind of got going. Mike Schoberg is, the Schobergs are our attorneys, have been our attorneys for years. You know, if you have questions, Mike, John, and Kevin,
we got
you all will they'll step up and help us out and keep us on the legal track of stuff. And tell us when to be careful and when we can go ahead.
Yeah, well, we're happy to do that. My brother John started on this, I think, 42 years ago, 41 years ago. So it's been a while. And we enjoy working with the community. This community has its own personality. And this is, I call it a working person's community. It's not Dunkel or McLeod. But it has its own personality, and it's home to a lot of people, and we'll just do what we can to make that quality of life as good as we can.
Okay, Public Works.
Good evening. Welcome both of you. Congratulations, President Goodman. We have 2 burials, sold 2 plots. We have 2 burial stakings, 3 monument foundation stakings. We did some pothole patching. Put some spinners up on 164 by the crosswalk by Christ Lutheran. Those of you that I have an email address for, I sent you a copy of my cert from stormwater management thing put on by the county in Wisconsin, Land and Water. So you guys should have that. Our genset. So the part's supposed to be ordered or be here delivered, I think, on the 7th or the 8th of next week. If it doesn't, I'm going to be contacting you because I am done fooling around here. I think anybody that read my email will get the same gesture. This is going on way too long. So we have it all. It's all piped for fuel, but Miller can't come in and finish the rest of it without having the breaker switch and supplying the power. And this has been going on since December. So time to stop fooling around and get this taken care of. We finished the village-wide brush pickup in 5 days. We ground everything on May 2nd. Parking lot is completely clean. We were able to get rid of most of it. We still have a little bit left in the bin down there. I also had the guys attend a seminar in Waterford at Sherwin Industries. They're the ones that supply us with our asphalt products. We're going to be putting some stuff on called Mastic this year. It's like a crack sealing. It comes out in much wider variety. Pull a big street across the road and stuff like that. Trying to take care of some of the stuff that we can, and basically glue some of the stuff back together. Then a Washington Public Works Association meeting. We did a spring cleanup at the cemetery. We installed a fence down at Cherry Street. We did the dumpster. Our dumpster this for this month, because there was an event planned in the village, is on the 13th. So it'll be May 13th will be the day. We had a large tree that we took the part of it off of on Edgewood Avenue, thanks to Tony Humbyshell, the police chief, and resident Craig Lake. They shut off some of the roads, which people weren't real happy with, but it's the way it goes sometimes. We have a significant amount of ball teams using both of our diamonds, so our diamonds are being groomed and everything, and lined every day so far. It's been good for that. Myself and the village president went down and had a met with a contractor on the culverts on Big Bend Drive, something that we need to get done this year. Hotline's in there, gonna be doing it tomorrow, I guess. So we'll see where that happens. And the police department called us and told us that a brand new sign over on Oak Ridge at Henneberry was stolen. So just to give you guys a little idea, that sign's gonna cost the village about $300+ for that stuff. So it's not cheap. I'm working with some other remedies to do with that. I talked to the chief on it and stuff, and we'll see where we go from there.
Thanks, you know, I was gonna mention I've been involved with the Earth and ball fields. And we've gone from getting no money for the ball fields to where we're up to about right around 5,000 a year. And we have some donations and we used a couple, we've got about $2,000, $1,000 for each organization. And it helped us put new field mix on out there. We did a lot of work to the ball fields. You cut them down nice and they're really looking good. A lot of compliments, put up new fencing and all that kind of stuff. And you know, we've got beautiful parks. We need to use them and these clubs are wanting to play here. So it's nice. But, you reminded me of one more thing there, because you guys will be getting village emails. You know, basically your first name and then last, and Kelly will set those up for you.
They already set up.
Oh, I didn't set up.
Yeah, got your stuff.
So, to keep yourself out of trouble, always, when you send an email, send it also to the village clerk. She's the record keeper, you know, so that they have a record of anything going on. And, you know, be careful. I forget this too, of your walking quorum type things. And that's talking amongst each other and trying to set the vote or something on a particular issue. You know, that's something that can come back and haunt you too, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah. Essentially, this blocking quorum involves a situation where one council member or one board member talks to another, who talks to another, who talks to another. And next thing you know, a majority of the board or majority of the finance committee or something like that has communicated, even though not in a single communication. And that came out of a case that involved the sewer district and the contact communities back about 3 years ago, where the contact communities had a body that was a governmental body, not an elected group, but it was an administrative group to serve the 7 or 8 contract communities, and they would communicate one to the other, to the other, to the other, and Wisconsin Supreme Court didn't think much of that, got in trouble for it. So if it's a matter of what time we're getting together, and it's something that's not involved, a matter before the board, a substantive matter, I think that's okay. I'll start sending out emails to anybody that involves a topic that's to be considered by you, whether being considered or done being considered or prospectively being considered. You'll be very cautious about that. If there's a question, give us a call. But I think that instruction probably is enough to keep you safe.
Any other questions?
I think that's good. Thanks, Eric.
All right, you will, for new members, you'll be getting emails from me. There's a lot of stuff that comes down about stormwater, that comes down about recycling and stuff like that. I just send it out so you guys have it. All right, have a good
Thank
evening.
you. Did you?
I think that is something that's going to make an issue for you.
Oh, sure, yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Bill just reminded me of more things, I guess, because he reminded me about the cemetery. And just briefly, the cemetery has an easement on the west side of it. that ATC currently owns. And we looked at this over the years, and I don't know how many board presidents it might go back to, but we've never really been able to bite down on the issue to come to a conclusion. ATC takes the stance that their easement, which is like, I don't know, 150 feet wide, they back off on about 25 feet on each side. But they say they need the rest of it in order to fulfill their obligations to provide electrical service. And the situation they give, which is a possibility, I guess, is that there's some tornado, and now they have to get in there immediately with equipment to start stretching those wires to get the mast put back up, etc. And there is, I mean, I guess there's some merit to that. So the last time I think we realistically looked at this was about 2 years ago or more, at which time I had ATC's position on it, which is don't do anything within our easement. And then I searched around the middle of the country to try to find an expert, because all of the experts in that field go to school, they hang out together with, have been taught by the people who are at ATC. So at the university levels, I finally found somebody in Texas who would look at it, charge us $3,000 and give us an answer. But he had no way of committing to what the answer was going to be before he spent the $3,000, so we didn't do it. But it's a very difficult issue, and it relies on technical engineering, electrical engineering issues. And as long as ATC takes the position that they take, there's really not much that we can do about it yet, much to Eric's chagrin, and ours too, because that land has some value for the purpose that could be put. So I just make you aware of that. I don't think we can challenge ATC in their conclusions unless we had a competent expert who agrees otherwise. And it may not be just an issue of use for cemetery purposes versus not using it at all. Maybe there could be a height limit on bushes, and maybe there could be roads constructed in such a manner that it would allow access on an emergency basis. And maybe we enter into an agreement where if they go in there and they have to wreck some graves, that we have to fix them up, or restore them. So there's some in-between issues, but without having someone with expertise who understands what it takes to maintain these lines, including emergency situations, we've gone absolutely nowhere to try to get any additional land for extension of the cemetery. So that's sort of a heads up on where it's at. I asked for answering questions that you got, but we're stymied on it.
I thought we were supposed to start looking more, because that was discussed last year.
Down the hill, yeah. We're at about 100 or so graves left of what we can sell with the existing. And yeah, then we have to look down the hill. And on the cemetery board, the farmer that farms that said there was some tiling down there. So we have to be very careful, like in high water and all that, because you just can't put graves in where high water is. I did take and talk to another individual that knew something about that area, and the majority of the tiling that's there has to do just with a spring there. It's in one area and it takes it down to the river. So we may have to do some research to see if we can work around that area and do something else there. So, but I agree with Mike. ATC has got a whole bunch more money than Big Bend, and it could be a fight that would cost us a ton of money, and we could end up with nothing.
They've got all the experts and anyone else who might be a little independent that is afraid to get involved in it because ATC is the 500-pound gorilla. They just don't want to get involved in it.
And they buy these easements, they pay money to get them, so, they're not gonna take and come out and say, here, move on.
I heard at one time you think about going more to monopole design. And if that were to happen in that area, it would reduce, I think, the area that they need for particularly using the emergencies. But we haven't talked to anybody over there for 2 or 3 years. And I don't know if it's a topic that the cemetery board would kick around
you were gonna address that a little bit, with ATC or something?
Yeah, I've been pulling up old reports from Mike and John, looking up that stuff and then to report back to the cemetery board on that, so.
So, we're gonna try again and see where we can go, but
Things have changed a little bit maybe at ATC and see if there's things that we can do angle-wise with, saying, hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yes. John, if you are happy to look to it. I haven't thought that much on it.
Yeah, I have all the emails and stuff, so that's gonna be, I'll be getting that to the cemetery board, so.
okay.
It's a mess.
Anything else or no? Okay. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to consideration and approval of the minutes on 4/6. So you want to make a motion?
Move to dispense with the reading. I'll second that. Frank.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. You need to add trustee Monzella as present for that month. Because he made some motions. Bless him.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for April 6th as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of bills, discussion, consideration, approval of the bills in the amount of $222,228.59. It's 222,228.59.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $222,228.59.
One second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that passes. I will say that anytime anybody would like to look at the individual bills, you're welcome to go through them with the clerk, Basically, most of the time, all the bills are pretty basic. Utilities, taxes, whatever, They're just normal things. Repairs on vehicles, repairs on buildings, whatever. So, okay, there's no old business, so we'll move on to discussion, consideration, and possible approval of appointments of committee members. A lot of our committees stay the same. Fortunately, we had some new people that came forward and volunteered, which is great. We always like to have new people get involved. So you can look through that. I'm not going to go through each one of them individually. This is my recommendation. And feel free to make any comments.
I'll make a motion that we accept the board's commission and committee roster as presented.
second from anybody?
I'll second your motion.
Any discussion?
Just so I'm clear, there's, on library board, there's one resident that's blank, is that just an
We
open?
just haven't, there's somebody that wants to get on, but the library board has not approved it yet.
Okay.
They approved it prior to coming to us. I know who it is, and good person.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like,
An open one.
the
Yeah.
name just wasn't there.
Right, right. And you'll know the person, all you know who she is, so. But anyway, okay, so all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Thank you.
Opposed?
Good. Anyone opposed? Okay, we'll move on to, in your packet here, you have Mary Sensky was our planner for many, many years. She has decided to cut back, and she's just gonna stay with two villages. One, I think, is Menominee Falls, and the other one is up in that area also. We did some interviewing, and we had recommendations of different folks. And what we have come up with, and what the finance committee is recommending, is Froth. And Jeff is here. Maybe you'll introduce yourself, Jeff, and you can maybe talk a little bit about your company. You put together a nice letter here.
Thanks. So I'm Jeff Minkle. Good evening, everybody. And I'm with Foth. A lot of people call it Foth, or but it's Foth. And I had an opportunity. Actually, we had a referral from your building inspector, Jason, and that's how I kind of came to meet President Goodman and Laura Mecca in the past couple of weeks. Reason being is Jason and their firm, Wisconsin Building Inspections, is a partner of ours and other communities. Actually, some of your neighbors here in the village of Waukesha and the village of Vernon as well. And so we've had partnerships there in the past where we're the planners, they're the building inspectors, and it just has worked well. So it's happened before. We've shared referrals with each other, and that's how this came to be tonight. And so I did, hopefully your packets you saw just kind of some things that we do. Foth is a primary engineering firm, really. If you look us up, you'll see that we do a lot of engineering, corporate based here in Wisconsin, and we do a lot of municipal engineering, civil engineering, but we do have a core planning team as well, and it's made up of 4 of us individuals who are on the back of that page right there, where we do planning for a lot of municipalities in the form of long-range plans. You'll see I have some notes in there where we do a lot of economic development things, downtown redevelopment plans, comprehensive plans, new zoning codes for communities. And those are kind of where we have relationships with communities because of engineering, and those may be, I'd say, where we come in and do those plans in kind of a one-off fashion, working with those communities from year to year. But we also provide ongoing planning services for communities, and that's kind of what we're talking about here tonight. In southeastern Wisconsin, our planning team of us 4, primarily are in Waukesha County, Walworth County, Kenosha County, for a variety of villages and towns. And we look, when communities come and ask us to provide these services, we're not really seeking them out. We see on a referral base, and we make sure that we can, if we're going to provide our services, we want to make sure it's a good partnership, and we make sure that we can, be there as an extension of your staff. Obviously, if we're providing these services to other communities, we're at meetings, planning commission and board and council meetings. We want to make sure that we're there for you as well. I had the opportunity to talk to President Goodman and kind of get an idea of what the services Mary has been providing you in the past. And while I have on here, we provide a lot of ongoing services, and every community is different depending on their need, budget level, staffing level. You'll see on there, there's some on there where we're providing ongoing office hours, really we're there maybe weekly. We're getting involved anywhere from permitting and zoning enforcement, things of that nature. But it can be very small as well, where we're just on call as a developer or resident, and you want us to meet with them or work with your planning commission from month to month. With President Goodman, we talked kind of about Big Bend's needs, and it seems kind of formulation of some of those services I just discussed, but basically some week-to-week needs of helping out with development services more or less, and that would be your zoning, land use, and conditional use type matters that might come through, and being your representative liaison to your plan commission and you as a board as well. When we do that for communities, we are helping provide that guidance based upon your codes, and providing recommendations and staff supplements so you guys can make informed decisions as well during that time. As we look at communities too, I believe that as we enter into communities, we're looking for efficiencies as well, and working with yourselves as well if codes aren't working out, and we help provide those changes as need be. Definitely involved in working with village attorney. And Mike, you're probably thinking in your head, where have Jeff and I crossed paths many times in the distant future. And that's right, yeah. I used to be community development director for the city of Muskego for 15 years, back up into 2017. But I've since moved on to FOF just because I like doing multiple matters for communities as well. So with that, upon your acceptance, we would hope to be able to step right in and hit the ground running for Big Bend, hopefully provide some efficiencies along the way. I know that Inspector Jason talked about how in your community he does a lot of the zoning enforcement and sometimes the zoning permits and all that, and we talked how his other communities, we take that over as planning too, so we can help lessen the burden too as well along the way. I put in, I think you probably talked about, how our fee structure works, and we work as hourly as the demand of the village. So as we're called in, we work hourly, but as many of your engineers and attorneys do as well, if a developer or resident comes in and they're entering into your process for an application for development, usually they should have the burden of those fees, and we make sure that's controlled very well, invoice monthly, and make sure that the clerk can see the difference between those billings of what is going to the village and what will be going to a developer for those type of services as well. So hopefully that opportunity to kind of look over our who we are and maybe answer any questions.
I did check with some of the communities they work with, and they come very highly recommended. And of course, Laura, who worked with you for many years, gave a very good recommendation for your company. And I take a lot of faith in that. And they take and also work with Vernon and Waukesha, which for us will be a benefit as we start doing more up on the interchange up there, because we border both of them. And so they will help us with knowing different things that borders, different communities are doing, so that we can, our plan through shared services, to kind of get everything going in the same direction with all the communities, so we're doing kind of the same thing. And they will work primarily on an on-call. We don't need them to come down here and be here once a week for, or twice a week or whatever it be for an hour or two. So they won't really have that where they're just sitting here doing nothing and getting paid their hourly rate. We just don't need that. So it'll be kind of like here. A nice thing is they bill monthly, and that'll be really good for us. It'll be a nice deal, because many of the things that they do as planners does get billed back to the developer or whoever. So a lot of the work they do, the developer has to pay for, not us. So it's my recommendation then that. But do you have anybody have any other questions at all for? Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Jeff, from the early 2000s on, there's really no development in the villages. We have accession, whatever it's called. And then one development finally was came back, and it raised the issue about dedication fees and impact fees. Mm-hmm. And it appeared pretty clear that our dedication fees with this ancient ordinance didn't have a basis. So there wasn't charged. But as to the impact fees, I mean, there's some sort of a process to do it, statutory process to do it. Rupert and Milky had done the impact study back in the early 2000s that resulted in the impact fees, which are probably obsolete. Would you explain what you folks would do or what you've done in the past with that kind of situation to bring things up to speed?
Sure. What kind of impact fee is it?
Subdivision land.
Is this for parks or trails or sewer or?
Well, I think it'd be for all of
All
the items that could be back charged to a developer.
of them? Yeah.
Because we can't have these gigantic dedication fees that don't have a basis. We're forced to deal with it by computing out in some fashion, if I can understand, how much could be charged to a developer for an impact fee for each one of those things we're talking about.
Yeah.
But do you guys get involved in that or not?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, we've got involved in infrastructure, like for sewer and water type fees, as well as park related. That's kind of common in some of our southeastern Wisconsin communities here for park dedication fees or trail impacts. So as you know, new lots are developed on a subdivision plat, so that developer, before that plat's recorded, they have to pay that fee, which goes back in village coffers to help hopefully store it for future park maintenance or to add more trails to your system and things of that nature. So yes, we have written those type of impact fee studies, and since the 2000s, there's so many different ways, depending on what it is, infrastructure, park and trail dedication fees, of determining what that fee is. Somewhat of a subjective nature at some times, but our firm does get involved in those. We just did a park one for down in Kenosha County for Village of Salem Lakes actually recently. But if that's something that we need to look at, if that's something's obsolete, our firm would get involved in that. And usually if it is, it's going to be park plan related, I'd say like park or trails, that'd be where our planners would do that kind of work. If it's going to be infrastructure related with the sewer, water, if there's a stormwater type one, that'd be our engineers.
Okay. I mean, I think it's a topic the plan commission should take up. They take some time to get it done, and there's going to be some expense in putting together a study that verifies the figures that we're charging a developer per lot, called an impact fee. In the old days, we had dedication fees where we sort of guessed at what it was, and let's charge $2,000 per lot, or let's charge $4,000 per lot. And that sort of fell apart. The legislature modified that. So now it has to be calculated, the study has to be done. I really don't know what the cost of it would be, and you probably couldn't even guess that at this point, Jeff, but.
Yeah, I really couldn't. I mean, and I have to see the R&M study, I can maybe just update something, I have to see how in depth it was.
It's more of an engineering planning thing than it's a legal issue. But we need to have that study done to determine what the numbers are, to then modify our ordinance to match what the conclusions are in the study.
And I think you work with Kapoor some now, and that's our main engineer.
Yeah, and in many of our communities, we're not the primary engineer. It can be another engineering firm. So whether it's Kapoor and ours and R&M, we've had them as engineering partners in other communities.
And Applied does some also, right? Applied?
Applied
does some also. Yeah, they both have specialties that we call on them for different things. And they both have good engineers that we trust. Questions?
Jeff, I got a question for you. Would we have a dedicated planner, or would it be more of a group effort that we may have several different individuals that's involved with the decision-making process?
Yeah, good question. Actually, President Goodman got to meet Ben Cohout on the back, and really when Ben and I came to meet Laura and President Goodman, Ben was the gentleman that I would say would be your primary planner. And every village or town we enter in, we usually want two of us as kind of thinking us like always in the know of what's going on in each village, so there's always a primary backup. Ben would be the one who's freed up the most and have the best ability to serve Big Bend in my mind, for my team's mind, and I'd be in line with them to kind of be that team backup as well. And so, yeah, I look at Ben being a primary planner. Usually, if we had to set up a phone number or something for residents, developers, or yourselves to call, it would go, right to a primary person like himself. But then as matters happen, and if there's larger matters going on across the village, there may be times where both of us may be at a meeting or something like that, so we keep in the know of what's going on. And I was telling President Goodman, when that happens, we only charge for one planner. It's just a matter of us as a team just kind of knowing what's going on, make sure we have that backup in case something takes place. And obviously people take vacations, and that's why Ben's in here tonight. Actually, this kind of came up quick, and he's on vacation for this week, so we're going to be here unfortunately.
I did meet him, he comes with a lot of experience. He's got a good background to him.
Yeah, every one of our planners, I will say that every one of us has been on the municipal side behind the counters at municipal planning departments before coming to the private side and consulting planning, which I think is very helpful.
The proposed fee, is that doorstep to doorstep?
So yes, so I mean so like starting the clock, you're saying like as we are travel time?
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, that's usually how we do it. Our office is in Franklin. I think door to door we're 15 miles or something away at this point in time. So that's how it operates. So usually if it was for general services, not something that was in charge of the developer, the way we do invoices, we always tag our hourly fee of what that was for, and it would say plan commission meeting time plus travel, and we down to the point whatever hours it might be.
We checked, we talked about this, Lauren, our treasurer, and they come in within our budget of what we set for plan. Plan. So that's why we're comfortable with it. Did you have a question there?
Tony covered it.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, if there's no other questions, I will make a recommendation that we go forward with Prof as our new engineer. Mary is going to stay on and work with you. I would like to see you, Mary says she would like to be officially done on the 25th, but she will continue to help you out and get you all the records and stuff like that. We'll get your numbers set up here, if you're approved. But I would like to recommend that we take that as our new planner, starting as soon as Mary is done, and move forward from there. Do I have a second from anybody?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Look forward to
Jack.
working with everyone here.
Thanks for
We'll see you all
coming,
soon.
Okay. Okay, let's move forward to consideration of Class A combined beer and liquor off-premise license for the following applicants. I'm not going to read all the addresses of Brad, Jenny at Quick Trip, I'm going to combine them. Mark Anderson at All Occasions Catering, Bubba's Barbecue, Patel Backfish, or whatever it is, at Big Bend Food and Liquor. We didn't have a planning meeting, so they can't, or a safety meeting, so we couldn't recommend there. But Chief did say there's no problems, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve Brad Jenny for Quick Trip, Mark Anderson for All Occasions Catering, and Patel Cash for Big Bend Food and Beverage.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess there is one carryover. I thought there was a Class B, but for the same thing, the Class A beer and off-premise license with and that's Brian Godfrey for Jerome Markets, and no problem there either.
No issue.
Do I have a,
I'll make a motion to accept Brian's Godfrey for a Class A beer off-premise license for Jerome's Corn Market.
a second?
Second.
second
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we'll move on to consideration of a Class B combined beer and liquor license on premise for the following applicant. Richard Petrie, Richie's Bar, Donnie Walsh for Blue Heron, Ralph Linus, whatever it is, from Papa Stash, and Kelly Victus, or whatever it is, from Kelly's Bleachers. Chief, any problems?
No issues with them, but it's pronunciation of their name.
Okay, what's that?
Whatever pronunciation, I can't even say the word I'm supposed to say. Long day.
I will butcher many, as you can tell. Well, I butchered Tracy's name for so long, I just called her Tracy. But I finally got it,
Nope, you did good.
this time. Okay, we have a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the Class B combination beer liquor on-premise license for Richard Petrie from Richie's DS, Donald Walsh from Blue Heron, Ralph Lannis from Papa Stash Pub and Eatery, Kelly Rectus from Kelly's Bleachers.
I'll second.
You second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, that passes.
Jeff, so the one that we're missing is the Shamrock?
Shamrock has not filled out their applications and got them back to us, which is not unusual. And, you know, it's up to them to have them. Hopefully they'll have it by June's meeting. If they don't, we could have a special meeting, they'll have to pay for it.
There's a penalty, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah.
And we have a next public safety meeting on the 31st of this month, to get it in line for the next board meeting.
Yeah,
When is it due?
July 1st.
July 1st.
So theirs will expire.
That's all the stuff from the planning for our discussions.
Oh, okay. All right, so the next is Papa Stashes. He had two events here. And the first one went along with kind of a Harley event here in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and also the Rumble by the River. They have since withdrew that application, they're not gonna have it. So there will be nothing we have to talk about there. And then the other one is on July 29th. It's something they've done for years. Chief, that was kind of a motorcycle ride for police or something.
It's a
wasn't it?
fundraiser ride for Walk Canine. I think this is the 5th or 6th year. Last year, I think he said they had 75 bikes. Even if it'd be a perfect day, I think they wouldn't have nothing more than 150 bikes, and that would be a high number in my opinion.
Yeah, I think,
And that's-
didn't they
it's a
say
morning- it's a
approximately
morning
50
ride.
Yeah,
the last couple of years, each year?
on the way back, there was going to be about 50 coming back.
So it's really, you know, we didn't feel it was an issue, but that's up to you folks, so, any questions?
It was approved at planning.
Oh, no, we didn't have a meeting, oh, at planning, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
We approved that one.
So I guess we need a motion to approve it here.
I'll make a motion to approve Papa Stash's Redskin Run on July 29th, 2023.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next thing is discussion, consideration of possible approval of EMS week proclamation. And that's something that Chief Ludwig referred to. Are we having anything for that, or just recognize it, or what?
We're going to possibly have an ambulance out at the Corner Market. Still up in the air yet what we're gonna be doing. But there is possibly gonna be something going on the week of the EMS.
And this is kind of a normal thing, right?
Yeah, it happens every year just to recognize EMS providers and stuff like that in the state.
Okay. Any questions, comments? I'll make a motion to accept this. I'll recommend that we approve it with that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Need to sign.
Thank you.
Oops.
Okay.
No, I get this one.
No, but let's give it back to him for a second. Oh, that's kind of, I just scribbled it, I'm sorry. It's there anyway, Karen.
There.
Okay, there, in your packet is a letter that Nancy Dean wanted you all to have. I'll give you a little background on this. Nancy Dean was our director of the museum for many years. There was a changeover. I don't know if the library board did it or the village did it. Maybe Jamie has more background on that, but you know, she has a lot of complaints here about different things that have gone on. I think the two people that we have on the museum, Sadie Sonnenberg and Bobby Hoffert? Yeah, have done a great job over there. You know, if you want to read that, you're welcome to it. It's things that she has called many people on the board and talked and complained about several times, the same subject. There's a few things on here that she's requesting to have back. They were items that she had put together during her time period. Some she had spent money out of her personal pocket, but all this stuff was basically donated to the museum. And once it's donated, you really can't come back and say, hey, I want my stuff back. You know, so you can read through it, and there's not going to be any action on it. You know, it's like I said, I think the two people that are doing it now are doing a very good job. You know, if you want to see the museum, I'm sure that Sadie and Bobby would take and be more than glad to show it to you sometime. There's a lot of good information down there. The things that they have moved out are things that really, you know, they may have been old things, but some of them you don't even know that they were connected to the village. You know, and I think they moved some fire stuff over to you folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which was basically yours.
There was a lot of duplication.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one thing that I can personally say is one of the things that Bobby and Sadie got rid of was an old bedpan. It wasn't signed by anybody. We have no idea what it was for. I don't know if somebody went to the bathroom in it, and there's history there, but I don't think we really needed it, so they got rid of it. And that's just kind of the stuff that was, so I guess you can read it and take it for what it's worth. If you want more information, feel free to contact her and go from there.
So should a letter be sent to her that nothing is going to be taken care of on this?
Yeah, you can say there's not going to be any action.
I mean, I think some of this stuff is, the request is all broad. I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing specific
Well,
specified.
in that request, they want all the reports and stuff from the Big Bend Vernon Fire Department from inception. I mean, how many years was that to go back?
70,
52.
Yeah, so that's not even a reasonable request. I mean, we probably don't even have some of it, you know, so. And, you know, our clerks are busy enough, just trying to keep our day-to-day operation going. If there's a specific, you know, on open record, you have to actually put something in there that you want. You just can't make it broad of, you know, whatever, so. Not really comment on that.
It just doesn't seem to be open records request. I wouldn't interpret it to be that at this point. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, there's not a, the museum has a separate separate request also, in any museum item.
Is this request is actually being considered as open record request?
No,
Or was there something different?
there's something else that she,
She requested something in March that was never taken care of,
Outside of this?
outside of what's in here. And we talked to Sadie, and we're gonna start bringing one of those books over here whenever we get a chance, whenever Sadie can get it up here. We're gonna give her a date to come look at it. She can do what she wants on that date, and then it's going right back to the fire, or to the museum.
yeah,
She apparently wants to take all this stuff home, and it's not gonna happen.
no. When you request something like that, I mean, they're in plastic folders, you know, in a binder. You can have the data to take, you have to come in here, where you're supervised, so nothing is taken out of there. You can look at it, you can take pictures of it with your phone, or whatever you wanna do, but then, it's not taken out of the building, and it goes back to the museum.
I mean, a while back, Tony and I actually sat down with Nancy and her husband for a couple hours going, and she's done a very thorough job. She's just, I mean, there's no question she's done a lot of background and a lot of work on it, but like she said, she's no longer the director of the museum. I think her previous president said she's basically done. There was things put in place as far as what you needed to do, request information from the museum and how that was supposed to happen. You know, like I said, what she's done in the past, she's done a lot of good work. But, you know, requests like this, it's awful broad. You know, with the open records request, I think you have to be more specific. You have to look at, you know, okay, not only are they charged per copy, but if it's unreasonable, they could be billed for the time it takes to compile that information, which could be extensive. And then I think in cases like that, the person requesting or making the open records request has to pay that fee in advance. And like I said, I don't even know what all of this entails. You know, you mentioned the one just for the fire department going back to 1974. Yeah, I don't know
Documents.
who would do that, or how long it would take, or exactly what would all be involved. You know, so I think you have to limit it somehow.
I don't even know if it's here. Would it be here, part of it Vernon, or what?
I don't remember what's all down in the museum.
I know-
Moved a bunch of stuff down there.
And there's still, I mean, I know up at Vernon Station, there's a lot of books and stuff that are still up there too, so.
I mean, that room down there isn't all that big. I mean,
No, it's not.
You know,
It's
there's so
stacked
much
full.
stuff you could put in there. It's like,
I have to echo what Larry said. Nancy has called me several times since that meeting, which was a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. And she has, reiterated the same thing that's in this letter, and I had encouraged her to write this letter. She needed to get this down onto paper instead of just phoning and talking with people, and get all the concise information down in one place. So I've asked her, whenever she talks about wanting to gather stuff from the museum, what she wants to do with it. And I'm not exactly for certain, but this is an extensive list. This is like the majority of everything in that museum, is what it looks like to me, but except for some of the larger artifacts. I appreciate everything that she's done. I'm just not sure that there's any actionable items that we can put forward at this time.
If we have these things, they really belong in the museum and not in an individual's care.
Right. Yeah, they were done for the museum, so, you know, that's what it's gonna be.
I'd like to see some of these things.
Yeah, you're welcome to them, yeah. Yeah, I would encourage you to take a look at the museum, it's kind of interesting. And they've done a great job of organizing it for what little room they have, and putting up shelving, and you know, they do our display up here, which they do a nice job.
Spent several hours down there with the ladies, and I learned a lot about Big Bend's history. It was,
For volunteers, they do a great job.
She knows the histories. Mary Jane Stein.
Yeah.
She knows the history.
Just 2 cents on this letter, I haven't seen it since, from earlier this evening. She says, I would put a list of items I would like from the museum. She closes off by saying, "Want to go as soon as possible." This is not an open records request. This is a request to physically take the documents. The village owns the documents, and you can decide if you want to give them to her. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. She's asking for the documents. It's not an open records request. That's all.
So should we take action? No, I guess it's just communication at this point.
Just correspondence at this point.
Yeah.
She's got the right to come back and ask for it to become an item on the agenda. If she wants to go forward and we so decide to have it in there, I believe.
And we aren't talking about action, and it doesn't say anything about action, it's just a correspondence, so I suppose that she would be advised that there was no action taken, and if she wants to come back again, she can come back again with whatever she wants. We shouldn't take any action.
Okay. Public comments? Lawson? Did you learn anything about government? Or just get confused?
I'm pretty confused, but I've understood a little bit, not
Okay.
completely lost.
Probably more than I do.
So you'll be running for office real soon then, is that the case?
Well, I hope you get that badge. Yeah, and congratulations.
Thanks for attending, Keith Joe.
I was a Boy Scout and I loved it. I learned so much. I can actually tie a knot and start a campfire.
There you go. And he's still alive. Would you like to look through these?
Any other comments? Anybody?
See what an agenda looks like?
Okay, we're going to take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Do a second?
Second. I think you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, I got something for you to look at. I got something for you to look at. Not the one.
Sketch at the end. And actually one of the things.
Guns running back.
He did good for us. My granddaughter on Sunday. And she did Junior National Honor Society community hours coming to clean up the gardens. So,
I